I'll wait for everybody to come back. It's one way to screw up a live stream is to call me. Yeah. I see one person. So I posted a video this morning and I get a comment on there. It's like junk farm. You know, I got junk. Everybody's got junk. And I don't know a farmer that does not have junk. I just so happen to put my junk right there in front of the shop, right on the right hand side where the door is. And it's handy to load it up on a truck, to haul it to the scrapyard once or twice a year. It's it's okay. It don't bother anybody, my friends. It's junk. And you can go to Millennial Farmers channel and see junk there. You can go to Welker's and see junk there. You can go to Coal the Corn Star and see junk there. The difference is they give more of a shit than I do about showing it on their channel. Junk. It's junk. Yeah, it's junk. Junk. You know, if you don't have a junk pile somewhere, you're not working. There's always something breaking if you didn't know. But man, I got a junk pile. It's not that big. I got a lot of stuff in the shop, but it's not junk. Whatever. I could almost guarantee people come to the farm and they're like, oh, that's all the bigger that actually is. Oop, there's a big old fucking hole. Anyway. Why would I need a floor scrubber for the shop? I mean, I guess, but then it's another job I've got to worry about. A floor scrubber, in my opinion, is a broom. They've worked wonderful for millennia. I think they've been using brooms around the world since the beginning of dust and dirt. I don't know. Everybody thinks you got to be able to eat off of your shop floor. I don't know. Whatever, if you don't like my channel, just don't even fucking watch it. It's one thing I really got to say. If you got nothing, you don't like watching what you see, there's a really nice little button at the top that says unsubscribe. Not subscribe, but unsubscribe. So I guess I'm going to talk here because I can. We're going to talk a little bit of politics. So if you don't want to listen to my thoughts on the political climate that we are living in right now, uh, you can click off now. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you think. Uh, I see this impeachment thing as an entire total farce and a scam. It's a distraction from something. The something is a geriatric guy who knows how to write a signature on blank paper. And there was a senator, Tom Cotton, I think. Senator Tom Cotton. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Apparently, some of the videos that have cycled, when Donald Trump signed an executive order, he held it up for everybody to see that there was actually something on the paper, his signature, and the milestone actions that he was doing. Now, an executive order can be contested. That's my. In the hell is that? Even in 2000 about Obama. Yeah. Yeah, I know he wasn't. It was Peyton. Anyway, my son Peyton. Good boy. Anyway, the where was I at? Oh, The the executive orders that Joe Biden is signing are so-called executive orders. I saw a video of them. Now, they could be, anybody can be really good with Photoshop and stuff, but when a senator comes on and states that he may be signing blank papers on those executive actions. Now, an executive action can be contested by the House and the Senate, and obviously the Supreme Court. Now, most executive actions or executive orders are laws that are already instated, old laws, or laws that have been buried in the archives of time, forgotten about, and that's why the presidents, they have a lot of their cabinet is to research for, things that they want to get done. And Donald Trump and his cabinet was really good about researching old rule laws to put into action his executive orders. Now, I know the Geriatric Joe, and I just can't even believe the world is taking this idiot seriously. I can't. You listen to a speech that man has said, done, and it's unfortunately, I'm not a great speaker. I use profanity, and that is not a sign of a great speaker. But at least when I say something, my audience knows what I've said, right? Give a thumbs up if you believe that when I speak, you've understood what I said, whether there was a shit, damn, hell, fuck, cunt, or any other words involved in it. Yeah, I don't give a flying fuck about anything, but I'm pretty sure that people can understand what I'm saying. But I watched a speech that this idiot did the other day, and I'm like, what did I just watch? I mean, I know I heard a bunch of words, but what did I just hear him say? Because I can't put it together. Now, I'm pretty good at understanding complex language. I mean, I may be this bearded fool that plays in the dirt for a living so other people can make millions of dollars off of my work, but I can actually understand complex language and words that a lot of people don't understand. I actually understand what they mean, like culpability. Okay, they'll latch on to, these politicians will latch on to a word like culpability, or God, what was the one that Bush used a lot? Bush used the word a lot, and it was, God, I can't remember the damn word, and it was like, or exculpatory evidence. You know, the lack of exculpatory evidence. Well, that's what's going on right now in this sham impeachment, where the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, whom, by the way, is, in order to have an actual impeachment, you actually have to have the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court present to oversee the proceedings. The jurors, in which there are 100 jurors of these proceedings, meaning the senators in the Senate, those senators, they are the jurors in this trial of a private citizen right now, by the way, and they all know that this is not going to happen. And okay, what's the end goal of impeaching Donald Trump for a second time? See, he was acquitted the first time, which was absolutely disgusting to watch. I did watch it, the first time, and I'm like, I haven't watched a stitch of it. I did watch some of the video evidence, like, oh, Nancy, in the halls of Congress, and they were looking for Nancy Pelosi. Obviously, she was out of there at that time. And believe me, I don't condone the actions of what happened on the 6th of January inside the Capitol. What happened on the outside of the Capitol, where people were flying their Trump flags and trying to were making a peaceful protest, which is what we were supposed to do, even though there were some bad actors that kind of took it too far. And in my opinion, they were planted there by, you know, the other side. But that's just whatever, neither here nor there. But so I watched the video or some of the video. And if you watched the video and only that video, and you never actually watched the full speech that Donald Trump gave. Now, there were some times, and I watched it live, there were some times where I disagreed with the president. I really did. And I'm sure there's a lot of Americans that did disagree with some certain aspects of that speech that Donald Trump had given on the 6th of June, like Mike Pence having the power to do anything in the confirmation of Joe Biden. He didn't. And that's just the cold hard facts of the matter. Mike Pence had, hey, fuck over, you asshole. What are we doing here? We're going to ride over the line, you stupid cunt? What are you doing? Holy shit, man. This guy is riding in the fast lane, slower than everybody else, and he's halfway over the fucking line. Unbelievable. I don't understand what that was about, but bear with me here. I'm looking at the city, you know. And, but anyways, Mike Pence had no power to overturn the election. He really didn't. The electors were, you know who failed? I'm going to tell you who failed. The state legislators failed in this election. The state legislators have the sole power. The sole power of the elections are held by the state legislators, not the governor, not the courts, not the Supreme Court. I'm gonna blow my fucking horn at this asshole if he does it again. I think they're trying to get into an accident with me so they can collect insurance money. The fucking dude's got a bra hanging on his front mirror, asshole. Anyway, the state legislators are the ones that failed, and anybody that lives in these states, Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia. Georgia's really corrupt right now. Anybody living there needs to contact your state legislators and say, hey, listen, you need to take back the power that you have so foolishly given up, because they took this election, and whether you like it or not, they did. And if you don't like it, well, you're the person that needs to be contacting your state legislator. I live in the communist state of New Jersey anyway, you know, they always vote Democrat. It was weird that Chris Christie, holy shit, 40 miles a fucking hour in the middle on Route 95. Unbelievable. 40 miles an hour. And now that cunt got in front of me again. Oh yeah, that's it. Atlantic trailer. Asshole. Jesus Christ. You can roll down through here 55, 60 mile an hour without any problems usually, but we got to deal with this idiot. I get really frustrated when I'm driving because there's just so many stupid people on these roads. I mean, I'm not even looking at the damn camera. I can talk and drive at the same time. It's fine. If I couldn't, I haven't been in an accident. I don't believe the graffiti that got on here last night. Holy shit. But anyway, state legislators, they're the ones that failed. They have the sole power to preside over these elections. They allowed the Dominion voting machines that are known to be, and this is no joke, you don't have to listen to Mike Lindell. You really don't. Just go to the Philippine Election Board. The Philippines use Dominion voting machines, and guess what? They knew that they vote for their vice president. They vote for their president and their vice president. The vice president is not the running mate of the president like they do here in the United States. They do that differently over there. Well, the vice president Oh, that guy is just trying to kill somebody. I don't know whether he's drunk, high, or just plain stupid. Anyway, it's getting off there, thank God. Anyway, and that son of a bitch. The vice president of the Philippines, she was caught cheating, and the Dominion voting machines were the device that they used to cheat the election. So Venezuela, Dominion voting machines. Yeah, think about this. A lot of them around the world, and if you're going to allow that known thing to be in your state, we're never going to have a fair and honest election anymore. Anyway, yeah. So there is evidence coming out, and they're still researching it. I think that the country is going. The politicians, our lovely politicians, our public servants. Don't call them our leaders because they're not leading us anywhere, except down the toilet. But our chosen legislators are really going to just let this slide. There's enough proof out there. They just don't want it to be. They just don't want it to be revealed because you know what? The rest of the world is watching, and if there's no honest and free and fair election in the United States, there's no honest and free and fair election anywhere in this world, and they don't want that to happen. And I believe they've been cheating us for years now anyway. The problem is they cheat a little bit because they think it's going to be close, and nobody looks at the close elections. But that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That Porsche that just passed me is blowing a lot of exhaust, and it's got to be a rear engine because the exhaust is coming out of the exhaust and then back into underneath the fin in the back, and it's sucking the exhaust right back in. Weird. I have mid-mount motor in that Porsche. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just rambling on. So anyways, I just don't have much faith in our voting systems right now. As long as they're using electronic voting systems, I think, and these mail-in ballots, which we all know are a bunch of horse shit. There's enough evidence there that was proven and brought forward. It's just they ignored it. They ignored it. You know why they ignored it? And I'm going to tell you why they ignored it. They ignored it because they didn't want their cities burned down. That's all it boils down to. They allowed an election to take place where an inept, corrupt, dirty old man that likes to sniff up on little girls, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you voted for him, I mean, there were people that voted for him. If you were a Democrat or even a Republican that voted for Joe Biden to be the leader of the free world, the former free world, you're no better than that groping, sniffing, perverted old corrupt fuck. And I'm telling you, if I walked up to a woman or a young girl, let's leave adults out of this. If I walked up to 14, 15, well, let's put it this way. Joe Biden watched a performance by 15-year-old girls, and he says, I'd like to see you perform that in about 4 years. Meaning, he knew they were underage, but he was lusting for them. What a sick motherfucker. But if I was to walk up to, say, a 15-year-old girl, take her hair in my hand and smell it, what would that make me? In the first place, the father would have every right to punch me in the face. And believe me, if that old scumbag was to sniff my daughter's hair, he would need more plastic surgery. I'd hit the son of a bitch. You're damn right I would. I wouldn't care if he was the president of the United States or the leader of the alien race that he came from. I don't care. That guy's a scumbag. He's a scumbag. And his son is a bigger scumbag. And you know what? It's no surprise that his son has unfit for television content on his computer. You know, it's a funny thing. Children generally learn their activities and their demeanor and the way they treat people from their parents. Okay? So if Hunter Biden, and he was fucking his dead brother's wife while having sex with a prostitute in which he got pregnant and has a child from, but they swept that under the rug for the election, you know. We wouldn't dare have that kind of controversy. Could you imagine if Donald Trump's kid, say Don Jr., was screwing his brother's wife, how that would be like it would be headline news for the rest of eternity. I mean, right now Donald Trump is no longer the president. Uh, you know, insulin price. I watched a video here the other day of a woman who was crying hysterically. She said under Donald Trump, insulin was $60 for a month's supply. $60 for a month's supply. Now, insulin, you can't get away from that stuff. You got to have it. You have to have it or you die. Um, yeah, you have to have it or you die. Your body doesn't have the ability to produce it, therefore you die. She just went to the pharmacy and she had a coupon that she got from the manufacturer, and it cost her, I think she said $389 for that box of insulin now. And Joe Biden hasn't even been president for a month. Well, where does that insulin come from? We don't make it here in the United States anymore. Nope, we don't make it here in the United States anymore. That's made in China. You know, why are our drugs being made in China? Why? If you're not outraged by that, dude, there's something wrong with you. And if you feel that that is bullshit, just look it up. I talk to people, a lot of people. This face is in contact with a lot of people around the world. And if you're a diabetic and you're going to buy insulin for the first time since Donald Trump has left office, you're going to be on sticker shock like this poor woman was yesterday. This happened yesterday. Her son, his name is Hayden, her son needs insulin. They have a low carb diet so that he doesn't need as much insulin as say somebody that ignores their health. But he only uses about one box a month. But there's several people out there that use several boxes of this insulin a month. At $60 and you need two boxes, obviously the math is still pretty easy to do. It's $120. And you idiot, trying to kill people. $120. If you need three, it's $180. So and so on and so forth. But she spent $189 or $389 on a box of insulin so her son could live. Wow. That was a big deal before Donald Trump was elected. After Obama left office, I was talking to a fella, and his insulin had gone from $80 a month to over $800 a month. And like he was saying back 5 years ago, he says, I think he was in his 70s. I want to distinctly remember 73 years old, and he had to take insulin. So he's 73 years old. Now he's 78 years old? 78 years old. His insulin was $800 then. Donald Trump brought it down to, I don't know, I haven't talked to him since that I know of. But could you imagine what they're going to do to these people on a fixed income when everybody's expenses have gone through the roof? I mean, through the roof. Taxes have gone up. Food, believe it or not, food has gone up. Cars, electricity, heating oil is now going up. With these increased in prices and the cost of living, and now that you're at the breaking point, you have to turn around and your insulin is no longer going to go up. It's not $60 for a box of insulin. It's now $389 a box for the insulin for the month. And God help anybody that's got to do two of them, three of them. Oh, and without the coupon, she said it was over $500 for that box of insulin. Without the coupon. Without the coupon, the box was over 500 bucks. So if you need two boxes, there's 1,000. You need three boxes to live, there's 1,500 a month, just to stay alive. Just to stay alive. So a few years ago, a YouTuber that I watch, he's a funny guy, and I like him because he's funny. You got to get his humor. Uh, very, he's rude, but for some reason, he just seems to have a handle on the way this stuff goes. But a few years ago, he made a video, and it's called, and the name of the video was, "They Want You Dead." Now, he's in his senior years. He's 65 years old now. So he's retired, and he moved to the Philippines. His name is Michael Fazio. I even did a video on him. Michael Fazio, he's not everybody's cup of tea, okay? He really isn't everybody's cup of tea. He's controversial, but he's funny. It's a comedic show. Well, he did a video, "They Want You Dead." Why do they want you dead? You know, why would our government want us dead? So everything that we take, you know, health-wise, or if you go to the doctor because you've got diabetes, you want to live longer, right? You want to live longer. You want to see your grandchildren. Maybe you want to see your great-grandchildren. You know, my grandmother was fortunate to see her great-grandchildren until they were in their 20s, 25. Tim was 25 when my grandmother died. So, and he's the oldest great-grandson, the oldest great-grandchild. So, you know, so my grandmother was fortunate to see that. But people want to live to see their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, or their grandchildren grow to become, you know, productive human beings. At least a lot of people that I know, that's what they want. But they want you dead. So Michael Fazio is now 65 years old. He's hit that retirement age where he can collect his Social Security. I think the best is 67 to collect your Social Security. I think that's when you want to do it. I don't know. They fucked that up even. You know, when my mom was filling out her retirement papers and stuff for Social Security, my sister Wendy was dying, and that was in 2014, 7 years ago. She missed a step, and it cost her hundreds of dollars. Now, this is money that we all put into the Social Security fund, right? So they make it more difficult to receive your Social Security benefits, or the full Social Security benefits that you have worked so hard for, not entitled to, but you've worked so hard for. And basically, it's forced savings. That's what it was. So my sister Wendy, who paid Social Security for 35 years anyway, at least 35 years of her life. She died when she was 44 years old, almost 7 years ago. 44 years old when she died. And she paid into the Social Security fund for all of her adult life. And so did my brother-in-law, who died at 56 years old. Her husband died at 56 years old. You see, they never collected a dollar's worth of Social Security. And there's a lot of people that die young. I mean, it just happens that way. But when you get old and you start collecting that Social Security, now you're taking money out of that fund that the government loves to lick their chops on. Oh yeah, baby. If we change the retirement age to 72, which is where it'll be when I go to retire, that's what they say, that I will not be able to collect any retirement benefits in order to keep the Social Security fund alive. To keep it alive, I can't retire until I'm 72. That's what they've already said they're going to do to us. Thank you. Thank you very much, you know. And, you know, it is what it is. We're going to do what we do, and I'll retire when I see fit and when I feel like doing that. But we can't get the Social Security benefits until I'm 72 at that point. At least that's what they're saying. So Fazio's 65 years old, and obviously he's going to be retiring or has retired. He lives in the Philippines. He's building a hotel there, and he's a four-story hotel. If you don't believe, if you watch his channel and you don't believe him that he's doing it, he is doing it. Trust me, I've met the man. I had him at my house. He stayed the night. I took him for a tour of the area and the farm, and you know what? He's an all-around. He's he's very blunt, more blunt than me. He's an all right guy, I think. And I'd go visit him in the Philippines when we're allowed to go. And now they're pushing that you have to have this fucking vaccine before you go, right? Right? So anyway, whatever. I'm not taking that vaccine. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. It's not freedom, right there. It's not freedom. But whatever. So he said they want you dead. They want you dead. They want you dead. Well, they do want you dead. They want you to pay into that fund so that they can raid it when there gets to be enough money in there that they can raid that Social Security fund. And they started this back in, I think, the 70s, raiding the Social Security fund. Social Security fund was not ever to be used by the government, ever. It wasn't for them. It was for the people, like me. If I survive to collect Social Security, great. If I don't, well, I guess I paid my way. And my thoughts on Social Security are that if you're a family, it should be a family account. Okay? Oh, somebody did a super chat. Well, thank you so much. Here's a few bucks for, God darn it, a retirement fund. Thank you. I thank you for that. But anyway, the for retirement fund. I don't know if I'll make it to retirement. So, anyways, I think that the Social Security should be set up as a family account, right? So, immediate family or whatever, a family account. So, the Pandy clan, we can use the Pandy clan. So, my grandmother, she put into the Social Security fund, and she lived till she was 95 years old. All right, she retired. I think she was in her 70s when she finally took retirement from her Social Security. I'm pretty sure she did at that point. Okay, so she lives for 65, 75, 85, 95. She lives for 30 more years than what, you know, 30 more years after retirement. You can work for 30 more years. Well, that's great. I was happy to see that. So now you've got my sister and my brother-in-law who both died young, 44 and 56. Okay. And they never got anything out of Social Security, ever. They only ever put in. Okay. Well, who's going to get those benefits? My grandmother, who worked for her entire life putting in Social Security. So my grandmother got married when she was 24 in 1940. I think I got married in 47. 1947, I think, was when my grandparents got married. I don't know. I'd have to ask my dad. So she worked before then. I am not sure when the Social Security came into existence. I thought it was in the 1930s, like 36 strikes a bell for me. I don't know why, but it just does. So we'll just say from 47, 57, 67, 77, 87, 97, 07. Just say my grandmother, I believe she retired around 04, 05, 07. So she worked for 50, 60 years. She retired. Let's go to 97. So 47 to 97 is 50 years. She worked for 50 years to receive benefits for 30. All right, 97. Yeah, 20 years, 25 years. Anyway, I'm not even sure. But whatever. None of my business. I don't really care when my grandmother took her Social Security. I don't think she got out what she put in. It's just my thoughts. My grandfather, He died when he was 58 and a half, almost 59 years old. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see if these brakes work here. He died when he was almost 59, just before he turned 59. He never got out. So between my grandmother and my grandfather, my grandfather put in until 1981 from 47, and or he did before. They were both born in 19. Well, no, my grandfather was born in 22. My grandmother was born in 25. So whatever. He put in a fair amount of Social Security as well, because he worked at the paper mill as well as farm, and no paper mill benefits. They took that. They took that. He never received a dollar from his 22 years in the paper mill. Yeah, 22 years in the paper mill. So that was that. Yeah. I think it's lopsided. I think there's a lot more money going into the Social Security fund than there is in coming out of it. You know, and I pay my self-employment tax as well. I always have. I did Bandit Farmer vote for Sleepy Joe? Because if he did, I'm very disappointed in that. That would be very very disappointing if Bandit. I mean, hey, and I'll treat you just like anybody else when it comes to that. If you, I'm sure, yeah, whoever, don't accuse somebody of voting for somebody if you don't know for a fact. Thing. Man, I must be in a bad area. Actually, the reason that this thing is buffering and disconnecting and cutting out is because of the language that's being used right now in text. The algorithm connects that, and what they'll do is they'll try to shut it down by disconnecting it. Believe it or not, names in the texting side of it, because they don't. When you use that Joe, what? That's what triggered it. Oh, anyway, you're the one that has to sleep at night. You're the one that's got to look at the way the world is going. And I wouldn't care if they offered me $10 million to vote for them. My wife, type 1 diabetes when she was 5. There's no fault of her. How much is her insulin? I mean, I'd like to know. What's her insulin? Has she put insulin lately? Or have you and her been married? It disgusts me that it's somebody, and I was wearing my mask, but William was